It's only these two issues which I found on this motorcycle to be a little more bothering when compared to other motorcycles in the segment. Oh, we have an open road. Let's test the top speed. Exhaust sounds nice. What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on this channel, and today we have the Yezdi Roadster with me. So out of all the three motorcycles which got launched from the Yezdi fleet, this one, the Yezdi Roadster, was my least favorite looking at the pictures. But honestly, I saw this motorcycle in the parking lot once and I just thought that yes, I need to ride this motorcycle because this motorcycle has immense road presence. To be honest, just have a look in the parking lot. It almost looks like the Harley Davidson Street Rod. So just not the looks, it has a lot of road presence elements. So one thing is obviously the looks. Second thing is sweet and grungy exhaust note. And oh boy, and when it climbs to the revs, that's something else. Really a nice feel to ride this motorcycle. So I'm having this motorcycle for almost 2 weeks by now, and today I thought that I'll make this video. So around 100 or 150 kilometers in bad traffic, and after that today I'm out on the highway to make this review. So in the beginning, in the initial days, I was not really liking this motorcycle honestly, just like any other Yezdi or Jawa motorcycle, because this motorcycle has torque issue. So if you're someone who's actually used to riding torquey motorcycles or normal motorcycle with regular torque, you don't like this kind of an engine. But you have to get into a pace of this engine to really enjoy the motorcycle and really use this motorcycle inside city. So last week I was having the Yezdi Scrambler, and now I have the Yezdi Roadster. Honestly, between these two motorcycles, on a practicality point of view, Scrambler is the one which is more suitable for me because I like to off-road, I like to do adventures. But after riding this, I got to know that the Roadster engine is more practical. I'm able to ride this motorcycle much comfortable than the Scrambler. And yes, I have the adventure also coming in probably next week, so I'll update you out of these three motorcycles which one is my favorite. So let's get into each and everything. So from a distance, this almost looks like the Harley Davidson Street Rod. What it actually makes us to think in that way is the suspension and the cap, front section, the headlight, and the small visor over there, which actually looks extremely neat, extremely beautiful. And you see that engine. So that engine is actually sitting a little slant. So just imagine having that thing onto this side as well. So that is what we have already seen with the Harleys and all the V-twins. We get alloy wheels in the front, the bigger disc, and coming onto this side, the completely black coated exhaust. Actually, there are a lot of black elements than chrome elements on this motorcycle. Absolutely, I don't see any chrome elements. That's one reason this motorcycle look kick-ass. And here you'll see the conventional suspension in the rear, which is kind of okay. And coming to the rear side, a very decent looking motorcycle. There's a badging over here. That is also looking very nice, and here you'll see the Yezdi logo. So it looks damn neat and damn premium. Looking onto this seat is actually again looks like an inspiration from the Harley Street Rod, because when you sit in the motorcycle, the Street Rod has a different kind of a riding posture. It's almost like you sit and you have your knees coming up. On this one, the knees are not coming up, but still the riding posture is almost same. I'll get into that a little later. But talking about the seat, we have a split seat, and this seat is much comfortable. It has got nice paddings. Right seat is also comfortable. I got a chance to sit on this motorcycle as pillion for a few kilometers. And another main thing which I liked about the pillion seat is that the pillion backrest. So the pillion backrest has a curve like this. So finally, a manufacturer has identified that human bums are not flat, they are curvy. So finally they understood that there is a curve, and you need to put that. So that is actually giving additional comfort, and you feel like sitting in the motorcycle for a longer time. So when I get on the motorcycle, it's slightly a heavier motorcycle. I don't say really heavy motorcycle because nowadays 300cc motorcycles are damn heavy. And when we sit on the motorcycle, the handlebar actually feels very wide, and it is somewhat closer to the rider. For a shorter rider, you'll enjoy it, no doubt. If you're a taller rider, probably your knees will be coming till here and you might be feeling a little cramped. So definitely I'll suggest, if you are someone who's 6 feet tall or even taller than that, definitely go for a test ride and basically check that if your lower body is comfortable sitting on this motorcycle. So from this angle, the motorcycle actually looks gorgeous. The bar and mirrors, logo on the tank, the logo on the fuel cap, everything looks neat. Even the speedometer also looks nice, but only one thing is the speedometer is not that readable in bright sunlight. In this kind of light, morning light, it is okay, but if it's afternoon and all, it's pretty hard to read what's there. So walking through all the switches on the handlebar, here we have the pass switch, the high beam and the low beam, and here we have MS up and down arrows. We'll come to that when we talk about the dial and the indicator horn. And on the right side we have the kill switch, caution lamp and the ignition. That's all. And these mirrors, the bar and mirrors, are actually doing good job. I'm not a fan of bar and mirrors. I really personally don't like it because we get a little less visibility compared to normal mirrors, but this one is good. I like it. Only one thing is you won't be able to see what is just next to you. So on the dial, actually the dial is on, so the key setup is here. So we have a lock system there and the key here, just like any other classic motorcycle. So if I turn on the key, it's a small dash, packs in pretty basic information. This is a tachometer, this is a speedometer, this is an odometer, 2 trip meters, gear position indicator, fuel level indicator, and the time. That's all. And there's a side stand indicator as well. So the dial is kind of okay. There is no Bluetooth connectivity, nothing. And when it comes to these switches, if I press the M button, toggles between the trip meters and the odometer. That's all. And if I long press this S button, that means a little longer press. Generally it's like 3-second press. This is almost like 5+ seconds long press, and we'll be able to reset the trip meters. That's all. So these upper and the lower buttons are like non-functional. I don't know why, maybe for some future use or something. So let's hear the sound of the exhaust. Let me put it on to neutral. It has got a nice grunt. Okay, we are back on road. So I have to say that this is not my personal favorite engine because this motorcycle has torque issues. Be it with the Perak review or the Scrambler review, I've already told that this motorcycle has knocking issue in the lower speeds. You have to keep yourself above the 3k RPM so that you get max out of it. But honestly, I have to say one thing, that I just got used to the system. I really don't face that issue anymore. So the mid-range is good. The top end is not that great. It's kind of okay. The motorcycle actually reaches 100 km/h easily, and after that it starts climbing. Mostly you will be able to do 110 to 115 without much efforts, but after that, like, it climbs a lot. I was able to do something like 135 or something, that too on a really long road. But the engine is kind of fine, and when the engine actually goes to these speeds, I'm able to face few vibration issues on the tank and minor vibration on the seat, and there are like considerable vibration on the foot peg. Foot peg vibration is kind of fine because if you wear a boot or a proper shoe, then you won't be having really a trouble with that. And another one problem with the vibration is that the mirror actually carries a lot of vibration, so it's kind of a buzz, and the mirror actually goes blurry. You won't be able to see anything. But altogether, the engine feedback is good if you are someone who always keep your RPM beyond 4k. And I can tell you one thing, keeping it beyond 4k is also a tricky part, because the RPM actually comes down pretty easy. You cut the throttle, it just come down. I've faced this issue, and the motorcycle cuts off sometimes in traffic and all, because when you're in lower speeds and when you whack open the throttle, the engine cuts off. I don't know what's happening, but it has happened a couple of times. So it is a little hard for you to keep it even at 4k, since the RPM actually dips really low. So if you're someone who are looking for a relaxed kind of riding, like a cruiser motorcycle, this is not the one. Okay, this is a Roadster, and the engine is actually giving this motorcycle the character of it. Okay, I can feel that. So the engine is actually matching to this motorcycle more than the Scramble. That's what I'll say. So let's keep the engine apart, and we'll talk about the rest of the things. And when it comes to the suspension is slightly onto a harder side. I'm able to control this motorcycle really easy. Even though the suspension is slightly stiff, the direction changes, filtering and everything is pretty nice. I really love it, and the brake feel is good. Honestly, I'll say that the brakes are not that sharp, but considering the weight of this motorcycle, the brake feel is good. It is progressive, and it is able to stop the motorcycle pretty comfortably. And the feedback from the tires is also good. I'm able to do some amount of cornering on this motorcycle, and it's really nice to do as well, because the wheelbase is more, so you get more confidence. And I have to say one more thing, even though the wheelbase is more, I don't really feel the motorcycle to be heavy or non-practical inside city. The motorcycle actually is much easy and agile to take it inside city. And when it comes to the other things, like the clutch feel is much more lighter. I really don't have any issue on that. Only one thing is, if you have damn traffic in the city, then you might be getting a little tired with the usage of clutch, because as I mentioned, the RPM actually drops pretty fast, and you have to keep your RPM beyond 4k. and you have to shift a lot. So in that manner you might get a little more tired using the clutch if you are currently in a city where there are a lot of traffic. And the gear shift is kind of fine. I don't really have much issues. It's kind of precise, but I had false neutrals a couple of times. And the seating is actually really good. The ergonomics is actually good for a person like me. So for short riders and an average guy, this won't be a problem. But if you are a taller guy, then the problem will be you might feel that the handlebar is really closer to your chest, as well as the knees coming really onto the handlebar. So if you're tall, you have to sit like this. And to talk about the other things in general when we use it inside city, the headlight performance is not that apt. At times I felt that I need an auxiliary lamps. The stock setup is not that great. The heating is there a little bit, and we can hear the radiator sound, but again, something manageable, not a big deal. And I really didn't had any ground clearance issues until now. The underbelly pan has not hit anywhere, or neither the exhaust, so there is no ground clearance problem, just like the Java which I've ridden a year back. And now let's talk about the ownership aspects of this motorcycle. Basically there are 3 color variants for this. So the base variant actually comes ex-showroom for 1.99 lakh it seems. So that actually comes on road for 2,40,000, and the other 2 variants actually sits at 2,60,000 and 2,70,000, which is kind of okay. That's what I'll say. For this price point, I'll say that this is a value for money if you're looking for a roadster. I'm again telling, it's not a cruiser, it's a roadster. So if you want a roadster feel, then this 2.4 to 2.7 is kind of value for money itself. And when it comes to the service, the motorcycle has to be taken for service once in 6,000 kilometers, keeping the fact that the first service is always done 1,000 kilometers. In general, a free service will cost you something like 1,500 to 1,700. A paid service will be something like 2,000 to 2,200 rupees. And you can expect a mileage of 35 to 40 kilometer inside city. But honestly, if I have to keep the motorcycle above 4,000, and if I'm riding in that pace, then, and I was not getting 30, okay, I feel the mileage was something like 25 to 30, that's all. So let's see who will fit onto this motorcycle. So I can tell you one thing, if you're someone who's short, who wanted a fast motorcycle to ride inside city, definitely this is a very good motorcycle. If you're considering this motorcycle for touring, it's kind of an okay motorcycle, because even when it comes to the highways, even in the 6th gear, I feel the knocking issue in the 6th gear as well. So you have to shift a little more compared to other motorcycles on the highway as well. In that sense, it is kind of okay, but definitely I'll do a detailed touring review on this motorcycle. And if you are having a lot of traffic, a lot of broken roads inside city, this is not an ideal motorcycle for you. If the roads are good, this Roadster is a really good motorcycle for you. And if you ask me if I've seen any quality issues with the motorcycle, I have to honestly say that not as much as I found on a Yezdi Scrambler. The few things which I noticed is that there's a minor rusting issues on the exhaust pipe, and I don't know why. There is a powder or something inside this dial. I mean, I honestly don't know why it has happened. So only these 2 issues which I found on this motorcycle to be a little more bothering when compared to other motorcycles in the segment. Oh, we have an open road. Let's test the top speed. Exhaust sounds nice. That's all, 123. And that too, the 123 I got in the 5th gear itself, and the 6th gear just cruised over that speed, that's all. It didn't really made any contribution. And one more thing, in these speeds I have minor wobbling issues from the front side. So the final question, if I had to buy this motorcycle, first of all, will I be accepting this? Second thing, what all modifications will I do? So to answer the first question, yes. If I have to consider a roadster, then this is a very good pick for me, because it's fast, it's really nice. It's an enthusiastic motorcycle in my point of view. When I buy this motorcycle, I won't be doing much of a modification. Majorly I might work on putting some auxiliary light on this. Apart from that, I really don't see any huge modifications to do on this motorcycle. I'm pretty comfortable with the stock settings itself. And yes, the torque issue is there. So if at all I can tune this motorcycle, then I'll be going for that. But I have a gut feeling that if I tune this motorcycle, then probably the mileage will just sink into shit. That's what I feel. So I hope this video is helpful for you, and if you have any doubts on this motorcycle, do let me know in the comment section. I'm more than happy to help you out, because I've kept this motorcycle for almost 2 weeks, just like owning the motorcycle, and I was reviewing it. So as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.